Yes, come on through, baby, for a winning Wednesday.
For a winning
A
Wednesday.
winning Wednesday, hump day, as they say, because it's the middle of the week. It's time to get over that hump so we can slide on into the weekend. Because y'all know we off on Friday, right? I just want to throw that one out there. Just want to throw
Ah,
that
I
part
love
on
the way
out
she slid
there.
that in there.
Right?
Yeah,
Let me
slide it
just
on in there.
let me slide on in there.
In case you didn't know.
In case you
Yes.
didn't know, let's give you that public service announcement. We will not be here on Fridays or Mondays. This season, we are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. However, those are three packed days full of information, full of empowerment, full of encouragement, inspiration, motivation, whatever you need to get plugged in so that your day goes well. But we're not just talking about the day, we want you to make this a lifestyle so that
Hmm.
every day you wake up excited
Every
about
day.
it. Every day you take control of your life. Stop letting other people live rent free in your head. It's
Mm.
time for you to take charge and
Mm-mm.
control of your life. Live the life that you were designed to live. Go on and say it, Sparkle, because it's all over you, baby. I can drop it and tell them
Uh,
what you want to say.
I'm telling you, exceedingly abundantly, all I could ever ask or think. When you think about abundantly, abundantly is all of that, plus that, plus that, and plus that. I mean, head swimming blessings. You can't even keep your head. You can't. Your head can't even keep up. You just left, right, left, right, left, right. Head swimming blessings. I'm telling you, get it into your belief system. When your belief believes it, your heart believes it. When your
Amen.
heart believes it, it comes out of your mouth. It comes. Your first response is, no, no, no,
Not today.
God has more for me. God, I'm not touching that. That conversation, you like, let me go. Have a good one.
What do you say? That does not apply to me. I mean, hey,
I'm telling you, when they
if
say
you
no,
want
you
to
like,
believe doom and gloom, that's on you. That's not my lifestyle. And
it's
I'm gonna say
not.
this too. Stop putting things in seasons all the time. Like, yeah, season for
Yes.
things, but when you start thinking about the goodness of God and what He has for you, that's not a seasonal thing.
No,
A lifetime thing
it's
for
a
you. You should
lifetime.
believe that is what God's plan is for you. When He says to give you a hope in the future, baby, you know the future was not doom and gloom. The future is bright and beautiful for you. Every single
Mm.
day, you should wake up and say, baby, I am blessed and this is a beautiful day. And we're going to
Yes.
enjoy it, rejoice and be glad in it, honey. All things work together for my good. So if I'm late, it's because something was meant to be avoided or something needed to be happen before I got there. But I'm not going to sit around and be worried and stressed out. I'm gonna walk through and be like, "Hey, good morning. How you doing? Good to
Yeah.
see you. I know I'm late, but you know what? That was God's plan, and let me get on.
Yes. Because
Now, let me
a
back it up because
delay is
sometimes some of us get
exactly what
lazy.
God meant for it to be. A delay.
I get
It was
like,
preparation. He never tell us to eat raw chicken. He tell us put that thing back in the oven because it's not done. And if we eat it raw, it's going to make us sick. It's going to do something to our body. So it's the same thing in life. If the yes hasn't came yet, it's because he still has some work that he needs to do with you. Because one
Amen.
thing
yeah.
about my God, he ain't gonna let you make him look crazy. He ain't gonna let you make him look
What do
like
you say? Don't put my
broken.
name on
Facts.
that mess. Look,
And God
what do you
did
say?
that.
Let
That
him
was
let him
God.
cook. What he said? You know, in the video I sent with the lady, the man was like, "Let him cook." Give
Yeah.
God
Let
space
he
to fix
said,
a
let that
situation.
cook.
Let
And
him
some
cook.
of us are still marinating. It's a marination that's still in our body
Yeah.
because we have some stuff that we still got to get out of our hearts. Our heart
Yeah.
still has some little bitterness. It still has some little hatred. It still has that
Unforgiveness.
unforgiveness. It
Mm-hmm.
still got your nose turning up at
I
people.
was gonna say,
It
it still got
still
a little
got some
foolishness in it.
stuff.
Look, it's got a little foolishness up in there that
It
we
do.
need
We
to get
got some
rid
sprinkles
of.
of some you know, you like
Exactly, exactly.
it
When you,
does.
Judgment.
but you know what? Spiritual maturity is when you start catching yourself. When you getting ready to call somebody and say, "Let me," and then you say, "You know what? Let me pull that back
Let me
because
go.
I don't need to gossip. You know what? Let me leave that
Let
where
me
it's
just be
at. Let me
quiet.
just, yeah, let me just be quiet because it's really none of my business." Good morning, Miss Patricia and Miss Phyllis. I just put it on the screen, but good morning to you both, and good to see you here. That is the things with spiritual maturity. So yesterday, we were talking about emotional addictions, and so Natasha,
Mm-hmm.
we need to take the addiction out because people will be like, "Girl, I ain't addicted to nothing," but all of us are addicted to something in some shape, form, or fashion. You know what? And sometimes we have to take the addictions that don't mean us any good and switch them to get addicted to the Word of God.
To the
Hmm.
word of
Get
God.
addicted to a strong prayer.
Because spiritual
Get
wisdom.
yes, get addicted to going to God
Yep.
first before you
Yep.
go to somebody else. Get addicted to good things. Addiction doesn't have to be a bad word. It's all in how you do it. The Bible says you can drink wine. You just got to drink in moderation. You're not supposed to be out here falling down drunk and create issues in
Yes.
front of
But
other people.
how many times is wine in the Bible? Like,
No,
and then he turned multiple. It wasn't enough wine at the wedding, so he was like, "Oh, let me let me
turn the
make sure
water
I
around.
have enough to
Yes.
spread around."
But it's everything in moderation. And
Everything.
in society today, we like excess everything. We want to supersize everything. We want everything that's not good for us.
And
Yeah.
Supersize.
part of the addiction definition is when you do something that leaves your life unmanageable. So if I'm
Mm.
drinking and it leaves my life unmanageable, if I'm in a relationship and I'm emotionally dependent
Okay.
and relying on that someone to the point that my life has become unmanageable, that's a
Mhm.
problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, that unmanageability is where we continue to do more of the same of something that's not healthy for us, and
Mhm.
we're not getting any better. So when we hear addiction, we have to think about, I am depending upon something to the point or to the degree that it's leaving my life unmanageable,
Mm.
right? And that could be, and like you said, that could be just about anything. So I don't necessarily want to say, Angela, that I want to be addicted to God's word, because then that means I'm going to be addicted to the word where his word will never leave my life unmanageable, right?
Mm. Come
So
on.
Now, how about this though? It is going to leave your life unmanageable, but he will be the one to fix it. So, meaning that we release our control over what goes on, we give
yes,
to God.
yes. My only thing for that is I just don't want people to get that twisted. Like, well, I'm addicted to the word, but then they're like, well, if I'm addicted to the word, why can't I be addicted to this? I need people to hear it when I
Got it,
say
got it, got it.
that
Well,
life
listen to
becomes
Natasha, y'all,
unmanageable.
because I tell you some.
No, 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 no. I understand your viewpoint on it, but we
Mhm.
want to make sure that there are individuals out there who don't do enough reading and research and understanding of things, and may
True,
just hear what we say on the
true,
morning show and
true.
take
Yeah.
that and run with it. And we
Yes,
just want
true.
to make sure that we're delivering that message
Yeah,
clearly
well,
to
no, Angela
individuals.
That's
said,
why Natasha
Yeah,
here, baby.
yeah,
I'm speaking.
what
Look,
Angela
hey,
said.
be sober. I
exactly.
said, go on and get in that word and let them be unmanageable. Good morning, Tina. Natasha said, let's put some constraints on that. Let's
Yes.
make sure that
Eh,
you understand the consumption and understand giving things to God, being submissive and being in alignment with Him,
Hmm.
and understanding that that comes with discernment, that comes with wisdom, that comes with an understanding. Because in all you're getting, get
get
understanding.
understanding.
So
Correct.
that's the goal for us here. In the Empowered Morning Show is giving you tools and information that you need to make your life better and lead you into the life that God called you to be in and to move in purpose. And so I'm gonna go to yesterday. I shared with the ladies because y'all know it's so much on social media that people share and give you. So somebody shared this with me, and I thought, this is a good place to be in because we probably have all been in situations where you have more withdrawals than you have deposits. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's a little long, but it starts off with the scripture, Proverbs 4 and 23, New Living Testament. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life.
For it determines the course of your life. You can't just run by that. Like, you got to get that into your heart. Yeah, I
Yes.
know anything about a heart. I'm all.
Yes, yes. Check your heart. If y'all not following Sparkle and getting all those good nuggets, then you need to tap in, because she's giving good nuggets about your heart. And so this scripture is the undergirding of that. So check your heart. But it starts off by saying, if you allow people to make more withdrawals than deposits in your life, eventually you will find yourself out of balance, in the negative, and nearly depleted. Think about that. And a lot of times
Mhm.
for some of us listening to this, you got one person in mind that always drains you, always pulls on you, always comes to you because they always got something going on. So think about the level of, they make more withdrawals than deposits. Some relationships and situations constantly withdraw your peace, your joy, your confidence, and your energy while giving little or nothing in return. And
Yes.
sometimes we continue making deposits because we feel guilty about setting healthy boundaries. And I
Which
know
ties
you
Hmm.
in,
talked to
which
us
ties
about setting healthy boundaries.
that ties into the emotional dependence yesterday,
Yeah.
right? If I'm continuously depending upon that person to meet my emotional needs and desires, then I'm going to tolerate just about anything and allow them to keep withdrawing because I'm hoping that they're
Mhm.
going to make a little bit of a deposit, right?
Yeah.
A
I
little bit
still hope
there,
they're going to have, this time they're going to have something good to say. You know, it's
right?
almost like I have somebody, no matter if you tell them something good, they're going to find in all that greatness and all that goodness and all that shouting, they're going to find something in that little something to make it flip back on them, make it flip back to negative, make it flip. So I just ran, my heart just ran to you with excitement. My heartbeat is rising because I'm excited. I tell you, and you like, but I wouldn't trust that.
And
Did I ask you?
I'm sure we all have had those type of situations. And to be honest, for some people looking at that, that's you. You the one that always want to, throw cold water on somebody's
And
situation.
then
You
you
want
wonder
to
why
always
nobody
be,
tell me nothing. Why y'all didn't share it with me?
but you want to be the one that quote unquote the voice of reason. When you deal with
I
God,
just try to keep it
it
real.
doesn't have to make sense. If God blesses me, the blessings of the Lord make it rich and add no sorrow to it. So I don't need you to feel like you gotta, bring me back down to earth when God has put his super on my natural.
Yeah.
Mm.
Sometimes you'll never understand. It's gonna be times when we're gonna have to get to heaven to get understanding of the favor of God, or why things went this way, or why did she get it and I didn't? Why did he get blessed and I didn't? How did he get to live this life? We came from the same place, and we went to the same school, got the same degrees, drive the same cars, but his life is going this way and my life is going the other. Go to God. Because you may never understand. In our minds are not capable of understanding all the things that God does. You just have to trust
You,
that God is working things out for your good, whatever that may look like. But the thing about it is, we can't be envious of somebody else's thing, because you don't know. While you've been envious, you're missing your stuff. While you're
yeah.
over here being envious and looking at what they're doing, you're not even looking. We looked at a movie last night. um I think it was the voyeur on voyeurism, or the voyeur, or something like that, on Tubi. But the people across, they were, this couple moved into a beautiful, beautiful townhome or whatever. But it was such a long place, and across the street, the people, they didn't have any curtains. It was just wide open, so you can see everything that went on in their house, right? Well, of course, it was sexually They,
Explicit.
yes, 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 very much so. And
They
so
was
they got to the
cooking.
point where so we had got to the point
Yes,
where
they were.
the lady had got to the point where first they saw the people doing it, and then they was like, oh wow, when do they know everybody can see him, and all of that. And before you know it, she got addicted to that, and she bought binoculars and she watched it the whole time.
Dang! Now I make sure I get up close.
When her man was in the bed asleep, she was up in the middle of the night watching people over there, right?
Fantasizing.
And
She was
then,
fantasizing.
then they went so far as they got a some kind of listening device so that they could
Dang!
tap in and listen to what was going on over there. So it got to the point where she got so invested in what was going on over there that her guy was like, let's cut this out. This is, we doing too much.
I want
She
some.
didn't stop, and he left. I ain't gonna spoil the rest of it for you. If you want to see it, go watch it.
I'm
But
gonna go. You
that's just how sometimes we pay
that's the
so much
Lewis
attention to
house. They'll
somebody
find you
else's
a good
thing,
movie.
but you pay so much attention to other people's things that you don't pay attention to your own. And
That you,
that's why I was
and
wrong with
and
it.
that's deposits. You wouldn't put so many deposits into somebody else that you sitting there with a hole in such thread.
You could be living in happiness. You moved in and you were excited. You were with the person that you love, and you get along and everything is great. But you are so busy with what your ex is doing. Well, I saw them together. Well, he got some new little girl over there. Well, we're so invested in other things that we can't even enjoy the blessings that God has given us. So you got to check your heart and what you look at and what you're listening to and what you're bringing in to make sure that it doesn't deplete you to the point of you can't even enjoy what God gave you. You
Can't
can't even
even
be
enjoy it.
thankful for what He's given because you're so busy complaining that this is not your life. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back to the thing, but hear me clearly. Forgiveness does not require unlimited access. You can forgive somebody, but they don't have to have full access to you. There are times when loving someone means loving them from a distance. There are times when you have to recognize that an account is overdrawn and have the courage to fully close it. Ask God for wisdom to recognize what is draining you and keeping you out of balance and in His perfect will. Ask for the courage to release what He is no longer asking you to carry or what no longer serves its purpose in your life for His glory. Guarding your heart is not being mean, it is being obedient.
Can we pause right there for a
That's
second?
right
Because
there.
something that I want to touch on is the forgiveness. Forgiveness is a big thing, and we have people either say that I'm not in a position to forgive, or you
Mhm.
have people that say, "Oh yeah, I forgave. It's not a big deal."
Hmm.
Right? When we forgive, or when God asks us to forgive, it's not about the other person.
Has nothing to
For,
do with them.
Forgiveness is about an inner reflection of you recognizing and being aware of what you are allowing yourself to be emotionally tied to.
Mhm.
So, someone does harm to you, someone does something that impacts you in a negative way, you have a feeling about it, right?
Mhm.
So, when God says release the burden, I want to fill in the blank there and say release the emotional burden in which you carry that is attached to the person, place, or thing.
Mm.
When you
Okay.
carry the emotional burden, then you're not checking your heart. Your heart is filled with um, anger, resentment, frustration, hatred, whatever that emotion may be. And
Mhm.
once you have those feelings that you are carrying, it's a total emotional wall that holds you back from being able to see God's blessings, allow you to be able to be in gratitude, and which oftentimes causes us to spend more time trying to look outward than really looking inward within ourselves, right?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
forgiveness, I walk people through forgiveness to help them understand that you have to make a decision. It's a personal choice. It's not about the other person. I don't care what they did and how
Hmm.
they did it. It's about you recognizing that I no longer want to carry that pain. I no longer want to carry that emotional burden because it has created this emotional wall in me that is keeping me away from my creator. It is keeping me away from my relationship with God. And if I truly want to walk with God, if I truly want to trust God, if I truly want to have faith in God, I have to be able to allow that wall to come down,
I
right?
and I want you to go back to I have to, like it's this is where it's not a choice of maybe I feel like it or I don't feel like it. It's you have to you it's a must.
If you want to heal and you want to move forward in life and truly receive the blessings, when you were saying earlier, Sparkle, God has things for us, but a lot of times He's still working on us.
Hmm.
There's a lot of pruning. That unforgiveness that we struggle to forgive in other people and in ourselves, that's what He's waiting on. So that
Mm,
very thing that you're looking for, that very thing you're saying, God, come on, where is it at? God's saying, okay, well, I'm waiting for you to forgive.
Mm.
I'm waiting for you to release that emotional burden. And as soon as you do, it's right there waiting for you. It's almost like I think of kind of like
Suddenly.
a sweet treat that a child wants. You clean your room, you'll get your sweet treat. You
Yeah.
don't
right,
clean your room, you don't get your
right.
sweet treat. Now, somebody may say, well, God's not punitive. I'm not saying that He's being punishing. He's saying, are you ready to be able to steward that thing that I'm about to give you?
Mm.
And you can't steward the things that I have in store
Not
for
from an
you.
unforgiving heart.
Correct, right? And unforgiveness
Yeah,
is a two-way street. It's not just saying I'm going to release myself of that emotional burden that I carry with what that person did to me. And most people don't understand this till they actually do the work. But you have some forgiving of yourself that you need to do,
absolutely.
right? That
That
not
part
That
right there,
part.
Natasha, is very rarely talked about.
That
We
part.
always
correct.
We
talk
skip
about
over that
forgiving
part.
other people, but not ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Because that unforgiveness from yourself is why you won't do certain things.
well, it's what
Cause
it plays.
I'm putting that wall up.
Correct. It places you in a place of not no, that feeds into the lack of self-worth. That
Hmm.
feeds into the lack of self-care. That feeds it into the lack of self-love. Right? I don't think I'm worthy enough or even good enough to even forgive myself for something. Now, a lot of people will say, well, if somebody on the outside wronged me, what do I have to forgive myself about? Because when, let's say, that wrong happened when you were younger and you are an adult now and you are still carrying that, you basically carried the torch of what happened to you and you allowed that to run its course throughout your life.
Hmm.
At any point you had a choice to forgive, but you didn't. You continued to believe you weren't good enough. You continue to speak poorly about yourself. You
Hmm.
continue to judge yourself. So there's a lot there that needs to be forgiven. And a lot of us don't think about that. And then you think about when people say, well, I don't want to forgive, I'm not ready to forgive. Okay, how many times in a day does God forgive us? In a day.
Listen, how about in the Lord's Prayer it says, forgive us our trespasses
Yes.
as we
Yep.
forgive those who trespass against us. He put it
First.
initially first that
Yes.
God forgive us our trespass. So if we ask God to forgive us, who are
Who
we
are
not to
we?
forgive somebody else?
Correct. Who
Who
are we that we can't forgive other
and and
people?
but they say, but I didn't hurt. I mean, it didn't hurt like it hurt. Like that's a different kind of hurt. Like
Mm-hmm.
it, I
Don't matter.
didn't, but I didn't do that. But I didn't this, and we always have. We can give a listing of why ours is bigger, and this is
Justifications.
why I
Mhm.
shouldn't. But
Yep.
no sin has a side. Like we all try to put stuff in a white lie, a black lie, a red lie. It's a lie.
The
Like
gray area.
Period. And the reality is, for a lot of people, you think your hurt is so devastating, you can't measure somebody else's level of hurt. Just like you
no.
can't measure someone else's level of grief. You may
Facts.
think, oh, well, it's my such and such is what died. It was just your such and such. You don't know what that person means to somebody else.
And
And even to the point of some people who have been very active in sports, and maybe this coach was the person that really was a father figure to you. Just because they're not your blood relative doesn't mean you don't grieve and hurt for them the same way you would for a parent or a
Yep.
sibling or a
Yep.
child or a spouse. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? We have to stop feeling like we're the author and finisher and judge
And
of,
ours is so big
yes,
because sometimes I knew my grandmother meant a lot to me. I knew she did. But when she left and I like it was like a different kind of meaning to like I didn't know how much she impacted my life. I didn't realize how much she taught me. I didn't even realize how big of a life changing she really was in my life until I no longer received it. at
Right.
all, period. Then
It's
it
like
was
they say, you
like,
don't miss your water till the well runs dry. A lot of times you're getting something sustaining for your life, but you don't appreciate it because you don't see it in that same level. You just be like, ah, here she go with some more information.
yeah,
Oh, now I
I
gotta
gotta
listen
learn
to
how
her
to
give
make
me
that
this
pie because
story.
she always makes it. Like, you know.
Right. You just
becomes
take for
it
granted a
becomes
lot of things.
expected, and we
Yeah.
become dependent upon it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where that dependency grows, which leads into when it becomes unmanageable, how we can become addicted to something. That's really what it's at its core, is that we are depending on things outside of ourselves. We are
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
depending on things outside of God to get us to wherever we're trying to go. And God's like, that's not what I created you for. I created you for connection. I didn't create you for attachment,
yes.
right?
Right.
And so
Right.
so that's why people have problems with loss. That's why people have problems with forgiveness. But in the grand scheme of things, if you take the time to work on that inner you and work on that connection with God, all of the stuff that we're talking about is not as complicated as we as human beings like to make it.
I mean,
You know,
but we'll make anything complicated. Like,
if we don't want to
that's
do it,
just
sure.
part.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what, the reality, when I think about it, what you just said, Natasha, as far as what God is looking to is to establish a connection, right? When people, to me, from what I'm seeing, when people get into addictions, most of those are to escape. You don't start drinking
Mhm.
because you're connecting to something. You start drinking or doing drugs because you're trying to escape whatever your current reality is. You don't like how it is, so you just want something that's going to
To
take your.
make me feel better.
You're not trying to connect to anything. Most people who get into addictions, a lot of times they're removing themselves from places. They're drinking alone, or
Well, let
oh,
me, if I can expand, let me touch on that just a little bit.
okay,
So, drugs, alcohol, sex, food, relationships, chaos, emotional dependency, all the things that we've talked about on the show is that's not the problem. Like you said, that's I want people to see that as a coping mechanism.
right, right,
Mhm.
It's a way out. It's a way to
Mhm.
escape. It's a way to numb. That's actually not really the addiction. The addiction is at the end of the day your primal needs, and I talked about it yesterday. Your
uh-huh,
primal needs as a child was not met, and you're searching your entire life outside of yourself on how to meet those needs. And God says, if you walk with me and learn about me and learn my word and understand who I am as God, I will meet every single need that you have. Again,
Mhm.
food, shelter,
Shelter.
protection, both physical and emotional, safety, physical and emotional, right? Guidance, to be nurtured. These are all the things that we need in order to thrive as human beings.
right,
We don't need that from the world, but we have grown up in this society. Now, when you come into the world, we are dependent, we are reliant on our caretakers to meet those needs.
Mhm.
Here's the break in the connection. No one teaches us that there comes a point in our lives where we have to learn on how to meet those needs on our own
uh-huh,
rather than depending on them. So when we lose them, we don't know what to do. And
Mhm.
that happens in early childhood when you talk about teaching a child how to self-soothe,
uh-huh,
right? When the baby cries, mom picks him up.
right,
When the
Mhm.
diaper's dirty, we change them. That's a natural course of development in someone
right,
taking care of a child. Who's teaching that child that when they get older and they're emotional, how to self soothe in a healthy way? Most people say, stop crying. What are you crying for? Shut up. I'm going to give you
Yes.
something to cry about. All that other stuff that we've all, we laugh about today. But as a child,
It was,
that's what
yeah.
you taught
You
me.
didn't know how to process that.
So you didn't
All I
teach me
know
how
is
to
to
self
shut
soothe.
up.
Right. Or you told me basically, okay, my feelings don't matter. Right? As a child, that's what I've learned. And I've kept those feelings to myself. What am I supposed to do with those feelings?
Mm.
So at some point now, yeah, I'm going to survival of the fittest, right? This is where the brain now gets overwhelmed by emotion. So the brain gets hijacked. Now we're operating from the survival part of our brain. When
uh-huh,
we are in survival mode, we are obsessive, we are compulsive, we are impulsive, and we are manipulative, meaning we will do whatever it takes to get those needs met.
Whatever
When
it
you,
takes.
whatever it takes, and
And
whatever it takes
under
requires
any
me to
means
put
necessary.
to put myself in a place where I am going to allow you to withdraw whatever little I have, take as much as you need, because I am seeking my needs to be met.
That's
And that
good.
is so crazy, Natasha, because a lot of people who feel like they're healthy and feel like, they're in a good space in their lives, you would be thrown off to see somebody eating out of a garbage can, right? You would be like,
Hmm.
oh my God, that's disgusting. I can't believe they do that. But if you have allowed yourself to get in a position to where your self-esteem is so low and you accept behavior from anybody and you're grabbing at whatever they give you, essentially you're the eating out of the garbage can type of person too. You just do it in the aspect of
In
how
a
you,
different kind of
in
way.
a different kind of way.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes we don't equate what other people are doing with what we do,
Hmm.
because we
Hmm.
don't see it as being as bad. Oh, it's not the bad.
That's
Oh,
a that's a
it's just
perfect
talking. People
example,
make
though.
make excuses. Oh, well, you just had a bad day at work. I know he loves me, but you're really reaching into the garbage can trying to find anything.
Yep. And
Whatever
that
it.
goes back to sometimes it could be your mama. Like,
True.
and I'm not
People don't want
trying.
to admit that because it's a lot of people who don't have good relationships with their mom or their dad. And let's back it up and say mom a lot, because a lot of times people say, oh, they grew up without a father in their lives. And so they kind of want to normalize that, especially in certain cultures, that, oh, well, they didn't have their dad in their life. But moms seem to have a more special place. So when you
Hmm.
have issues with your mom, and you don't see your mom in the light of, oh, she was just everything to me, she was just wonderful and great and beautiful, and she was just what I
Hmm.
thought I deserved and whatever. If you don't have that, it's people out here who really struggle with their mother.
Hmm.
I think
Real.
there are people out here who have the best relationship with their mothers, but if I really got down and have a conversation with them, especially if it's a single mom, again, and no fault to a single mother, I'm a single mother myself. People don't get this. It's not people are quick to think, I don't want to speak ill of another person. I don't want to talk bad about my mom. I don't want to talk bad about my dad. Nobody's talking bad about anybody. At the end of the day, we need emotional needs met in order for us to thrive.
Yeah.
We need food, we need shelter, we need to be nurtured, we need love, we need affection, we need guidance, we need safety, we need protection. We need it. Period. In order for you to thrive.
Yeah.
These are the things that we should be taught. It is automatically given when you come into the world most of the time. Some children do not even get remotely half of what I just mentioned, right? Due to their
Yeah.
environment and circumstances. But we have to teach children on how to emotionally regulate. We have
Hmm.
to
Hmm.
teach children on how to self soothe. We have to teach children that there's going to come a time in your life where I may or may not be here any longer, and you will need to learn on how to meet your emotional
Yep.
needs without over withdrawing in the bank.
Yep.
Learn on how to deposit in your own life without relying on everyone else to make the deposit on your behalf.
Yep.
That is what's not being taught in our school
That is
system.
what's not
That
being
It is
taught.
that
not what's
is
being
so
taught
true.
into our families. That's the core issue to addiction. When I teach on addiction and educate on it, it's not about the drugs, it's not about the alcohol. It was at that time in my life, I chose to use the drugs and alcohol to get me away from a much deeper issue.
Yep.
And what's the deeper issue? The deeper issue for all of us is that codependency. It is that attachment, not connection, to another person to know our worth. That
To
means that
know
my
our
self
worth.
esteem, my worth is defined based on how we attach, but we call it love.
Yep.
Because love being a primal need, I need love and I don't know how to attain love. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to
To
get that love. Now you have things like becoming her, the reason why it's a buzzword now and why it's such a big thing, and if anything, becoming or have become a movement. It's because we are finally waking up and realizing nobody's going to love me the way I choose to love me,
mm-hmm.
right? Other than God, of course, right? God's going to teach me,
How to
First
love me.
Corinthians 13:4-7, what true love really is.
Yep.
But if I am still buried in all of that hurt and I don't want to forgive, I'm not going to receive God's love to know how to truly love myself so I can put away the childish things. I could put away the hurt. I could put away the pain.
Mm-hmm.
This is so it's a lot deeper than that. And people don't we have a young lady who's 36 years old. Her name is Hayden Panettiere. She's an actress.
Yes. Oh my
She just
God.
passed away the other day.
Yes.
Right? 3 months
Yes.
ago, she talked about being in an abusive relationship. And if anybody paid attention to her interview, one of the key things that stood out to me is she realized how much of that relationship mirrored her relationship with her mom. Now, this isn't to talk bad about her mother. This
Right.
isn't to say that anybody is right or wrong or good or bad, because chances are mom has her own story, mom has her
Mm-hmm.
own history.
Right.
We all do. What I
Mm-hmm.
want the world to wake up and hear and see is that just because you come from that
Don't mean.
doesn't make you that. And it
Does
doesn't
not mean.
define your worth. It doesn't define you as an individual.
Right.
Who are you outside of that?
Right.
And a lot of us just keep repeating patterns and, well, that's just
It's
where I came
cycles
from. And
after
that's just
cycles after
absolutely, and
cycles.
passing it on from one generation. I can't tell you how many people will say, well, yeah, that's the way I was raised. And it scarred you,
Mm-hmm.
but yet you're going to raise your children the exact same
Yeah.
way. Help me make that make sense,
Yeah. You know how many
right?
times I have had to go back and correct something that I taught? Now I'm correcting a grown
Same,
child of mine of
same.
something I did when she was 5. Now I'm
Yep.
saying, I know I taught you this, but
Right.
that was not
Let's
cool.
unlearn it.
Yes.
Absolutely. My girls are in their 20s now, and there's a lot of things my girls will, but mom, you taught me that. I'm like, no, and I'm not proud of it.
Right.
I
Yes.
didn't know what I didn't know, but now that I know, I want you to do better. I want you to be
Yeah.
better. I want you to understand that this is
Yeah.
not the way. And when I don't have an answer for you, and the way what I didn't do then was send you to God. So
Mm-hmm.
today I'm
Right.
sending you God. Today I still not
Send
sure
you
that I have the
directly
right
to
answer.
God.
But that comes from being in a healthy place. You know what I'm saying? That you can recognize, okay, now that I'm in a much healthier place, now I recognize the dysfunction that I allowed to perpetrate because I didn't know any better.
I did,
But I wanted to go back,
and
Natasha, because I
honestly,
listened to some of the things that you were talking about. And so Ashley Arnold Morrow is one of the ladies that's the author in the Becoming Her series that we were doing, the anthology.
Mhm.
And she has taken on writing a couple of children's books because one of her children is on the autism spectrum. And so it's Douglas the Duck, Delilah the Duck, and Dinosaur meets Douglas and Delilah. But in it, it talks about, and especially in Delilah and Divasaur, it talks about, oh, I'm kind of feeling some type of way, and they suggested do balloon belly exercises, meaning breathe in and then breathe out. And
Mm,
so when I kind of researched a little bit, to see when you did talk to kids who are on the autism spectrum, you give them coping skills to deal with the things that they are experiencing when it's anxiety or,
correct.
How to,
Stimulating.
emotional
mm-hmm.
distress, right? So it was several little things, that we she included in Douglas and Delilah of skills, like even journaling, even writing down, what's bothering you. I don't understand how we understand that that's needed for children who are on the
On the
spectrum,
spectrum and not for
but we
children
don't
in
give that
Because
to
we're
general.
them.
on the spectrum too. Like,
But emotional
But
dysregulation is with
yes,
everybody.
exactly.
it's with
And that's
everybody.
when you got to speaking about that, it made me think like they do have
Yes.
coping
If
skills
I would
for
have learned how
children
to
who are,
breathe,
they give that
like,
to them so that they can cope with the things that are going on in their lives. But there are
Amen.
children who are not on the spectrum per se,
yes.
and you don't give them that same level of understanding of this is what happens when if you're a child and you're going to kindergarten and somebody does something to you, you need to be able to give them a way to deal with that. Or if they come to school and they feel some type of way because of what's going on in their household, maybe their parents argue all the time and they're terrified that they're the reason why their parents are getting a divorce.
I will
How do you help them
and
cope with it?
I will go even simpler than that. And I'm gonna use my grandson as an example. He's 2.5 now, but when he started going to daycare,
Mm-hmm.
It's the instability. He shared in his dad's house, he shared in his mom's house, he shares in my house. And you've got three different people he's staying with, three different houses that are picking him up. He goes to school, he's seeing all these new faces. And
Mm-hmm.
while they say he's behaving well in school, he went through a period of time that as soon as he got picked up, he would have the biggest meltdown in the world. And my daughter didn't understand it. And I said, let him. And she said, well, I just don't understand it. I said, he can't speak. He is not at an age to articulate how he's feeling, and he's overly stimulated.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to give him a safe space. You know, people look at it and say, oh, these are terrible twos. No, this is a child who is emotionally overwhelmed, emotionally
Well,
dysregulated.
that's good, Natasha.
That part of the
And they
brain
need an
isn't
outlet.
developed yet. That part of the brain isn't developed yet, and his mother is yet to teach him a healthy. She's doing better now, because the other day he was acting out, and she grabbed him and she sat down with him and she wrapped her arms around him, because I said to her, I said, when you're anxious, he's anxious.
Mm-hmm.
When you are upset, he
He's
feels that
upset.
energy. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you have to sit with him, and you need to breathe. You need to regulate. And when
Mm-hmm.
you do, in that moment, you are teaching him. So, of course, she comes back with the, well, mom, you didn't do that to us. I said, that's why I'm teaching you now, because I
I
didn't
know.
know that when I was
Right,
And that's
20.
why you over there spazzing out.
right, right, right.
I
But,
didn't know
but,
that at
but,
21.
but it's so good that they have you now at the
Yeah.
level that you're in to share that wisdom that she can pass on to him, so that now when he gets in situations, he can take some time to breathe through it so that it
Mhm.
doesn't overwhelm him.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny, like you said, terrible twos. Everybody's like, oh my God, it's the terrible twos. They're
That
this,
drives
this.
me crazy.
And
I
we
hate
don't
those labels.
understand. But we don't understand that it's not that they're bad. It's just that they're processing information and trying to
Correct.
figure out the best way to
Correct.
absorb it
Process
and deal
that.
with it and process it. And when they don't have it, it comes out any kind of way. And so instead of spanking them or putting them in timeout or yelling, we've got to give people opportunities to know how to get themselves past a particular situation.
So
Yes.
that is what disrupts the nervous system. When
Ooh.
you want to spank and yell, you instill fear in the child, and then you wonder
Mhm,
why they have anxiety by the time that they're 5 or 6.
Yeah.
mhm.
And
That
it's the
drives
same for
me
us.
nuts.
When you scream at us and you holler at us, what does it do for a mature, like imagine what it does to our unmature heart and mind. If it does it to you and you're supposed to be this big grown up.
Because think about it. I mean, when you said that, it made me think. You know how many people get so offended and upset when somebody sends an email that's in all caps? They're not going to be yelling at me.
That's just
I had somebody say that the other day. I'm like, why do you care? Okay, so they did it in all caps.
But
Why
what
does
if
that
they
matter?
just speak? What if they were already in capital in caps and
and they just kept on going.
just figure, you know what? I don't have time to go back and rewrite all of this. I'm gonna just have to send it as it is. I'm not yelling at you. I'm being
But
lazy. I
who?
don't
But
want
who
to
said? Like who came
do
up again? Who made the law of when you put it in capital letters
but you're yelling.
means that
That you're
somebody's
mad.
screaming at you?
Yes,
Who?
right,
Who was the lawmaker that
right.
established?
But people
Somebody
will
said
take
that.
that so
Then it
far.
attached and it attached and it
Right,
attached and it
right.
attached and it. Now the whole world feels like capital letters, but because mine is explanation marks. If you get something from me, it's probably gonna have some exclamation marks. Like, why is she putting an explanation mark? That is not correct. Well, so this is how I want to.
This is my expression of
All
mindset.
the
I used to
all the
like,
English majors out there are
yes, my
dying.
friend
Preaching.
Valerie,
Because not only
we
do
did
I
a
do
book together.
one, Natasha, I'm probably
And I
gonna
did
do.
multiple. But my friend Valerie, and we was doing an anthology together, and I'm just like, Valerie, baby, because she be having exclamations after everything. But it's because she's expressive. And so that was her way of making a point. Like, I want you to get this. These exclamations mean I need you to feel this on a different level than what you would feel this
Or
other part of the conversation.
some people are not English majors. Some people grammatically don't know
Some
that an
people don't
exclamation
care.
point doesn't go there. And we need to be okay with that.
And
Exactly.
guess what it is? It's okay.
It's
Why do you
okay.
feel like you need to come back and correct them? Because I mean,
Right.
and,
Because even
and
in the
let's
scheme of
really
things,
face it. Who really said? our English grammar is correct. Like I know that they
Don't get
like it.
started. Don't get me started on that.
But the thing about it, and I'll say this, Natasha, because y'all know I publish a lot of books. There's things in there sometimes people are like, well, maybe it should be this or that or whatever. For the people who are reading this, they're probably not English majors. They
Yes.
probably haven't looked at, reference books and all these things to tell you. If I said ain't, I meant ain't when I said it
Yes.
in the
You're
sentence.
reading a page out of my book and I didn't put a period somewhere and that's what you're going to focus on, then you've missed
Yes.
the entire
Because
message of
you
my book.
missed the
You have
whole.
disregarded everything else that was said because you're just like, well, this grammar isn't right. Who cares? Did you get the point? Because the
You
reality
didn't put the quotation marks to
is,
mean
oh,
that
you
you.
didn't put that in italics. Oh, you should have. Well, you should have did this.
God.
My thing is for the average person that's going to read your book, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be like, you know what, I can even read your little stuff because all your punctuation was jacked up.
Yeah.
But to me, when I read people's stuff like that, to me it connects me with the author. Like it gives me that like when it
Baby,
connects
if
me
they
with.
got the double negatives or all these exclamations, baby, I need to know because let's just keep it real. Sparkle lives her life in exclamation. Everything about you is high end
Sparkle is an
exclamation.
exclamation
Like,
point.
she's an exclamation point all by herself. Why would you not expect anything that comes from her to not have exclamation points? You should expect it to be high energy. You should expect it to be, passionate. You should be
Rule.
expecting that.
Hey,
Yes.
the first page of your book, Sparkle, should have a giant exclamation point when you open the
Yes.
book.
It really
First
should.
page.
So let
I
me get this
mean,
to Tina. Tina said, I work with nonverbal people, and believe it or not, we communicate better than the folks in my job who can actually verbalize themselves
That's
because we
sad.
operate off actions and feelings more than words. Boom.
That's sad, Tina.
That
now,
part.
That's
That
sad.
part.
Tina, thank you. Tina just corrected the. She just made it very clear.
Miss Tree said she just want to get to the point where not you have to use the dictionary to understand the right grammar.
Yes, like
Uh,
I mean, it's just sometimes our focus is on the wrong thing, and because we expect everything supposed to come in a certain way. It's supposed to be grammarly corrected. Everything's supposed to
well,
be
again, we're focused. We're too busy judging. We're too busy
We're too busy
comparing
judging.
instead of just get what you're supposed to get out of it
and move
and
on.
move on. If
Think
it
about the
didn't
people
hit
who
you,
are nonverbal. So you mean to tell me that you feel like if so let's just go back to people first who can verbalize. And you get with someone that you love and you know they love you, but you want them to tell you I love you all the time. And they're thinking, well, I'm showing you, I'm giving you hugs, I'm buying you flowers, I'm doing the things I'm picking up your laundry or your stuff from the cleaners.
you're dirty.
And making sure you're getting your doctor's appointments. That's me showing you love, but you don't want to be with me because I can't tell you I love you. How do you
It's
think
a
nonverbal people express? You can tell when a child comes up to you and they hug you, and
Y-
people say, "Oh my God, they never do that to anybody else because your energy is good and they feel good about it, and so they express." I like you. It's something about you
Yes.
I like. Or
it's
the
the
dog
un
or
it's
the
the
dog
un
is like growling, like, yeah, no, you
No.
don't do that for me
it's the
either.
When
unmanaged
that dog is
expectation,
like,
Angela.
"Grr," and then
You're
you sit there
talking
like, my dog never does this. But
Right.
well, you better run. With the
Get Satan up out your house because they ain't meant to be there.
You're talking about unrealistic or unmanaged expectations. That is a great example of just us as humans in life. That and even with anything in life, it's just you get something. Oh, God blesses you with something, and yeah, that's great. Thank you, God. I've been waiting for it, and all of a sudden, I'm on to the next. What are we gonna get? What are we gonna do now? What am I gonna get now? Right? It's like we don't sit in a space long enough to just appreciate what we have. So instead of somebody appreciating the fact that someone, did a nice, maybe it's a nice gesture, they're more focused on is, I want you to say I love you. And so they're now more focused on the, you're not telling me you love me, that they're missing all the other
yes,
blessings,
Right.
Natasha,
right?
you know how many times my grandmother has told me I love you,
None.
and she's gone. I don't even know. It's probably one hand I can count how many times her mouth came out with I love you. But did
I
she
learned
love
that I
you?
learned that later in life with my mother. My mother had never said I love you till my children were born. What I didn't know then, I know now. My mother's love came through her cooking. You never, until this day, she's almost 76, 70 years, 77 years old. She always makes sure that there's food in that house. And when you come through that door,
You
everybody
gonna get
eats.
something.
You know what I
And
mean?
because
And
And
that's
that's
her
that's her
love.
love.
love language. And the
That's
fact
her
Yeah.
of
love
other
language.
people,
And
though,
that's how she expressed, like
Yes.
her
mhm,
saying, I love you to her, that's just
is
like,
making sure that what they say. So for some people, love is in the stomach. When you're
Yeah.
full, you're satisfied. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? You think when somebody's full, they feel good. They're satisfied. They're happy. And I want to be the person that makes sure if it's nothing but fruit in the bowl, it's always going to be fruit in the bowl because somebody's
it's
going to
gonna
always be able to give
always.
you something to eat.
And
We're
those type
going to
of
Yeah.
pick
people,
up
do they ever run out of food? It seems like never. They get some point.
well, because they're making sure the love bank is full when it comes to food. But for a lot of people, you want to judge somebody else's love language based on yours. We're two
Yep.
different individual people. You may like
Hmm.
acts of service, somebody else may like words of affirmation. That doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just my expression. But I can't go to Sparkle and expect her to do something because that's what I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't.
I can't
It's
go.
just like you come to my house and I didn't know you was coming. I'm not gonna have Coke in my house. I'm not having Coca-Cola in my house. I mean, like
Right.
Angela's
my
not
house
coming
never
over.
has Coke. Now,
Hey,
if
I'm calling her every time you got some cokes.
yes, now if I know she's
You-
coming, if I know she's coming, that's a whole different. But she can't expect me to give her a Coke at
Right,
a house that
right.
won't even.
But you
Well,
know, Natasha, let me tell you
if
this.
I know Angela well enough, she's not expecting you to have it, so she's going to bring her own.
Thank you. Exactly. But you know
But
what?
I'm just
What
saying,
I have
sometimes
found
you're
out.
Yes.
expecting
Yes.
something from somebody that
Agreed.
doesn't even know how to give you what you are expecting. They don't even know how to do that.
But you have to pay attention because what I realized, the amount of people God has put in my life that love and appreciate me, it blows my mind sometimes because I can think of being places and somebody brings me cokes because they know that I like it. Like they may have it on my desk when I was at, actually working at a job where I was at a desk,
Hmm.
at the building. And maybe bring me a Coke. Or for my birthday, that's what they gave me. Or somebody else said, hey, I was thinking about you when I had a Coke. But for somebody to know that's me, or let me say this, of course, y'all know my name is Angela. And y'all know people have nicknames. When I was younger, it was probably Angie. But what I love is when somebody says Ann. I feel like that's like, oh, so you get me, you know me. Okay, we cool. We good. Right? But it's the things that you have to pick up on somebody because if you feel comfortable enough with me to call me Ann, okay, so now I know we're on a whole different level. And it becomes something different versus somebody who still will say Angela, all the time.
They pull out
To
all the
recognize the
letters.
right, but I have to recognize the difference and say, you know what, hey, we've kind of crossed this barrier and we're good. And a lot of times people miss subtle things like that. You're thinking, or say if I'm going to Sparkles and I know she loves it freezing cold, and I'll say, girl, keep running wide open. I got me some thick socks and my thermal underwear so that I can be warm, but you run it like you want to in your household. We have got to pay attention and pick up on things so that we know. And it may be nonverbal. People may not always come the way that you
Yeah.
want. It's just like we say, well, God, He may not come when you want Him, but He's always right on time. Come on,
So
man, put it in there. Get a copy of
the
the
five love
Five
languages,
Love Languages by Dr.
Dr.
Gary.
Gary Chapman.
Yes.
There is
And it
one
will
for your
teach
children.
you so many. Like,
So,
Yes,
so there's
and
one for
it's
your.
not just like, I want to throw this out here. It's not just romantic. It's not just romantic.
right,
Like, we automatically think love language is for my
right.
partner. No, it's for people in your life. Like,
So
to
there's one.
connect.
There was one made specifically for kids, for your children and your
Okay.
relationships with your children. And what you were just describing, Angela, we have to learn to communicate. So yes, someone does not know your love language, but you need to know it to be able
Well
to
enough.
communicate it. So for instance, mine is quality time. So my
Mhm.
family knows. My kids will ask every year, "What do you want for Christmas?" And now I just look at them and they go, "I get it. You want a movie night with pajamas and a Christmas movie, and that's it. I don't
Right,
need you to
right,
buy me a gift that more than likely is going to end up staying in the closet, right?"
right.
So when you communicate that, now what you do is in those relationships is you teach people to speak your love language. Now you have to be mindful that sometimes, depending upon what your love language is, let's say it's words of affirmation, you cannot just expect the other person to just right away be able to speak that love language. You're
Right.
going to have to learn to remind them, hey,
You
hearing I
didn't tell
love
me.
you, or hearing that you like that I made dinner, or that you can acknowledge that I cleaned the house. These things mean something to me. That requires us to be vulnerable. That requires us to be able to look at that other person, whomever they are, not
Mm-hmm.
just your boyfriends and girlfriends, husbands and wives, whether that be your parents, your kids, your friends, best friends, whoever. And we don't do enough communicating. We operate on a place of assumption that
Mm,
just because we are friends, that I'm just supposed to know that,
right.
I'm going to use this as an example. Okay, so Angela likes Coke. Am I supposed to know that the next time I meet Angela, I'm supposed to bring a case of Coke with me?
No,
Right?
you don't supposed
That,
to
that,
just know that.
but if Angela expects, well, listen, Natasha knows by now. I can tell you how many times I talked about a Coke with her. Why didn't she bring me a case of Coke? Like, that's how people operate,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
We think just
yeah,
because we
People have whole conversations in
in
their
their heads.
head that
yes,
never
Yep,
came out of their mouth, and
yep.
yep.
you expect people to accommodate that. And
Read your mind.
that's unrealistic to sit there and think that, okay, oh, so I guess he must not have liked the dinner because he didn't say nothing.
And then get mad about it.
Yes. Or
Then get mad
how
about it.
how about the times like somebody call you and say, I'm coming to your house, I'm grabbing me something to eat. Do you want something? And they say no. But then you come to the house and you bring nothing. And then they thinking, well, you still could have bought me you you could have still bought me a drink.
Whatever.
Like how you
Uh-huh.
just gonna come to my house and just don't bring me nothing? I
Or
got
or the person that just shows up with their own meal, and you say, oh, so you didn't bring me anything?
Did you
No.
ask?
Yeah, you didn't.
and if you was hungry and you knew I was
How did I know? You know what I'm saying? We take so much. But I'm gonna go back to the thing. It says it would be healthier to stop believing that you have to keep every account open just because you once made an investment.
Mm.
mm,
That is something
Read
to
that
think
again.
about. It would be healthier to stop believing that you have to keep every account open just because you once made an investment.
That
That
is
is from any
huge.
shift.
or
You
what
just
if you made 500 million investments?
You're gonna keep them, and out of all of them, they're all mistreating you. Are you just gonna keep them all
live
open?
your life in a situation where really
Or what about then investments that I know you didn't really like they was negative, but you didn't invest it to me. You told somebody else my negative. So you had them. Now they're coming back and now it's two-way. Like I told Natasha, Angela don't care about nobody. So now Angela is depositing into Angela. Angela don't care about nobody. Now the deposits are continuing and you had transferred another deposit to somebody else
that has never even had that experience. And
that has
instead of
never
them
had
judging
the
you, instead of
experience.
them basing their relationship with you on their personal experience, now it's clouding my mind to say, oh, well, girl, she don't care nobody. So I'm not even about to really have a real relationship with her because I know she don't care anything about anybody. You got to understand, and I'm going to go back to today, choose peace.
Mm,
Choose healthy boundaries. Choose relationships and activities that bring you pure joy and love, encouragement, accountability, and growth. Remember this: God never intended for you to live perpetually overdrawn.
Can we just
mm.
add to choose you
Choose
into
you.
that? Choose you.
Choose you.
And that's not a selfish thing. And that's another
Nope. If
conversation
you
for
can't
another
figure
day.
out who picture to put on your phone, guess who the best picture to put on your
It's
phone?
you.
Me.
If you
Exactly.
see my phone, it's gonna have me on there. Like, yes, my daughter means a lot to me, but if she gets on there, it's still gonna be me and her. Like, it's still gonna include
Because you're
Right.
still choosing you. Absolutely.
She's still
Absolutely.
choosing you.
because you
Absolutely.
have to.
Tina
If you don't
said,
bet
that's it.
on,
That's all, baby. Point blank,
yeah, if you
period.
don't bet
Choose
on
you.
nobody else, if you don't put no bet on nobody else,
Woo! Bet on you.
bet
Well,
on you.
it comes back to the investment, right? Quit investing in everyone else and invest in you. And invest in God. You'd be amazed on the return on investments that
Yeah.
you will get when you
Yes.
choose you, invest in you, choose God, invest in God, and the rest of the stuff will just fall wherever it needs to fall.
Because
Exactly.
Natasha, choosing me has made me become a better me.
Amen. Same.
It's like
Same.
so you're
Absolutely.
still gonna win? You're still
You are
gonna
you
get a good.
choosing you puts you in the winner's seat. Point blank period. We win over here. We
Win
win.
Wednesday.
Yeah, winning Wednesday. All we do is win. But guess what we got to do on this
We gotta go.
winning
We gotta
Wednesday?
go.
We got to see y'all later. But we will be back on Thankful Thursday. We're so
Yes.
excited to be here. Thank you, Tina. This is so much confirmation. Thank you, Tina. Thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Continue on tomorrow. Cause I believe God. Do you believe God? We believe God. We believe God. We believe God. We believe God. Have a blessed one.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.